3. Good afternoon. Welcome to Marietta College Esports. My name is Matt Williamson.
I'm Aaron Elliott.
And I'm Dylan Poles.
Yep. And so today, I don't know why the camera's a little blue. We'll have to fix that later on. At least for us, it looks a little blue.
Looks a little blue, but it should be okay.
Yeah, it should be fine. So this afternoon, we have our League of Legends team playing up against Aquinas College. So yesterday, we had them play in Overwatch. It did not go into Marietta's favor, but that's all right. Aquinas has a very good esports program.
Yes, I do.
Just to let, their League of Legends team, I think I said it was like 6-1, if I remember correctly. At least I think I said that like 5 minutes ago.
So, yeah.
I know it's 6-1.
6-1, yes. And their Rocket League team, which I'll go ahead and mention as we're getting spectator set up here in the lobby. They had the NACE national finals earlier today, and they actually fell to Missouri, but they are still the national runners-up in Rocket League.
Wow. Jeez.
Yes, and we'll be playing that team tomorrow at 9 o'clock, so be sure to come back to check that out. But anyway, we're just moments away from our League of Legends team, so we'll go ahead and get the starting lineup for your Pioneers. So in the top lane, we'll have MC Cressman, Scott Cressman. In the jungle, we'll have MC Knox, Lucas Stanford. Mid lane, MC Larson, Brandon Larson. AD carry, MC Brimstone, Ian Darling. And at support will be MC Cowboy, David Stratton. All right, and I think we're already getting the ready checks for draft. So I'm going to go ahead and get that set up just in case, because that's going to be just about any time now. So let me do that. And then that should give us the pro draft. Yes. So any second now, we will get this started. I think I can pull this up and this will be fine. Yes. Okay, yeah, both everyone's saying they're ready. In fact, they've already started.
Yes, we'll be getting our bans and picks here. First up is Aquinas, going to be picking off their bans. I'm expecting to see Kled. We usually see Kled a lot, banning against Marietta.
Yeah, we've been seeing that a lot in scrims. We've seen that in matches. Cressman has played a lot of Kled, so it's very common to find out what champions people play a lot of, and you go, okay, that person plays a lot, has a high win rate with it. We don't want to go up against it. Yeah. But actually, we see the Ari, which is actually one of Larson's favorites at champions. So he usually doesn't get a chance to play Ari at all.
No, I think it's been banned like every game so far that we've seen. So
pretty sure it's got like 100% ban rate this entire season.
We do see a Grog is coming out from Marietta, so banning back against the mid laners here.
Actually, that one, I believe Gragas has become more of a jungler.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so more of a jungle type. Yeah,
the meta actually has him being more of a jungler. He hasn't really been a mid laner since, I would say, like Season 3, Season 4.
I don't see him play too much, but we also see another one coming out with a support for Leona, which we've seen that a lot from Marietta. MC Cowboy likes Leona a lot as far as a support character.
Especially with comboing that with a Jinx. Jinx Leona is a very strong combo, so that makes me wonder if they're trying to prevent Marietta from going with the Jinx Leona in the bot lane. But they can still go with Jinx. Unless actually Marietta decides to go with the Bane. They were going to ban the Caitlyn, but decided to go with Kayn instead. So they're really focusing on Aquinas' jungler. I find that interesting.
I mean, a jungler's one that can really make a lot of plays, especially early game, makes a lot of things happen and stuff. So if you can really hinder the jungler and trust your laners to be able to do what they need to do, it might come out in their favor that way.
All right, now we see the Rakanbi map. So they're really starting to poke on MC Cowboy and seeing what kind of champion pool he has that supports. He does have a couple others, so if they're hoping to completely ban him out.
Yeah, I mean, those are the main two I think that I've seen with MC Cowboy and who he's played. Now, I think Nautilus might have been another one I've seen in a few games. Yeah, but they've banned that one. So they're taking out a lot of support. So MC Cowboy, I'm not sure what he's going to be left with, really. So.
I'm not too worried about Nautilus for MC Cowboy because it's not one that he actually plays a lot. So I think that's more of a target on Aquinas to limit. I mean, if Aquinas is going to ban a lot of supports, and here we go, the Senna coming out.
A Senna.
Brand new support, very OP.
This is one that just came out like within the last week, right?
Yes.
Now, I've not seen Senna played yet, so I've heard. I think I was talking to you. It's a does a lot of damage, but also has the healing powers, right?
Yes. Think of it like an AD carry, except it can also heal while doing damage.
Gotcha.
I think people have been saying like she's very broken, that has like a 75% win rate in a lot of games. They're already calling for Riot to nerf. Probably will happen in a couple of weeks, but
it does happen a lot with I feel like most characters coming out. You get a lot of like, we need to nerf this, we need to ban that, and but I didn't expect to see it in this match, which maybe we should have.
Probably, yeah, we probably should have since it came out. Because according to like a lot of leagues will say if a new champion comes out, you can't use it for like a week or so. For our conference, those rules don't apply.
Okay.
If a champion's out, unless Riot says it's broken and can't be played, it can be played.
Okay.
That's even true for any skins. That includes like Eye Blitzcrank, which a lot of leagues do ban out Eye Blitzcrank because you cannot see the hook coming out in that skin. But in this conference right now, that skin's allowed.
Okay.
So that might be one of the things that we talk about in between the seasons is, do we need to refine some of those rules where if a brand new champion comes out, do we need to wait a little bit before they're allowed to be used in gameplay? But
yeah.
We'll see. And we see Marietta response with a Morgana Caitlyn pick, which is still a pretty good bot lane combination.
Yeah, I would say it looks like we have both of our bot lanes here with an Ezreal Senna and a Morgana Caitlyn. I've seen Morgana played mid lane, but more frequently anymore she's played as a support, I feel like. She does have the stun. She doesn't have really much in sustain, but she does have a shield that can help. So I don't know how much that will help against maybe Senna's powers or Ezreal's, but
Morgana's it's gonna be all about the binds. It's about hitting someone with a bind, getting them stunned, and then collapsing on them. I believe that's going to be the approach Marietta takes. And we see Aquinas is going with the Pantheon, and he can be quite troublesome. I think he's a top laner now. He's not so much a jungler. At least that's where I've seen him. And he's a pretty strong with the rework that they did a couple of weeks, about a month ago, I think is when they reworked Pantheon, and he's been very strong ever since. One of those that you usually would ban out. And Marietta is going to respond with a Nocturne. So it looks like they're really going to be focusing on picking someone off. Like you get a bind, you do the darkness on him, and just completely obliterate that person.
We do see a Vlad and a Kled, as we talked about before, coming out. So looking at what's going to be top lane potentially against Pantheon here, they're going to say, we don't want to go against Kled. So, and then Vladimir... I would assume they're looking at more AP mid options here. I've seen Vlad go top, so I don't know if they're still thinking about that, but seeing Orianna come out too, it looks like, well, who's going to be their mid laner? Let's try to whittle that down. I
think they're really focused. I think they anticipate Vlad being a mid. I've seen mid Vlad as well. He can be top or mid, but you get a good Vlad going, and he's just downright scary. So they were just saying that they don't want to play against it. And Aquinas responds with a Silas ban, a very strong mid lane champion once again. So... focus on 3 bans in the mid lane, 1 at the top for Cressman. So I would expect him to pick Marietta to pick their top laner here. Actually, they decided to go with Syndra instead. I'm a little surprised about this because usually you want to pick your mid laner last. So that's going to allow Aquinas to try to counter. So Larson must feel pretty confident. Although with banning Vladimir and Orianna, he was probably going ahead and ban out anything that would counter. But looks like Aquinas is going to go with the Anivia.
They could have also been looking at maybe like, oh, who's going to be their top laner? It could maybe be Pantheon, possibly, or that could be their jungler, depending on which way they want to go. So to make sure they know who the top laner is and how they can counter, maybe they wanted to hold that one back, feeling comfortable enough at what they banned for mid lane.
I don't know. I would still want to pick your mid lane last, just because that way you know exactly what you're going up against, so then you can try to counter. So they're going to go with, okay.
So now we're looking at a
now
Zed.
I'm trying to figure this out. Okay,
so who is their top laner? Because here's what you're looking at right now. Anivia has to be mid. I can't imagine her going anywhere else, right? But Zed would have to be top as well, or Anivia top.
Like Zed's usually mid.
I imagine Pantheon here you have as the jungler though, which we discussed if he was going to be top or jungle. But who's going to be the top laner here?
Yeah, it seems like Aquinas is really playing the mind games here, and Cressman's going to go with the Aatrox. He has played Aatrox before in several matches, very comfortable with it. But yeah, so
you have a pick here, and it could go. I mean, you could alternate either way. You could put Zed top, or you could put Zed bottom.
Well, let's find out. Lane. Let's see what's actually going on here. Let me get the audio up and running. So we'll find out in just a couple of minutes. So, okay, let's get our predictions out. I'm predicting Pantheon jungle, Anivia top, Zed mid.
I would say Pantheon jungle. I agree with that. Let's go with Man, Anivia top? I'm going to say Anivia mid.
Okay.
Zed top. I'm going to go that way. I think having less distance there for Anivia, as slow as she is a better option. Than you have a little bit more with that curve at the top, so she has further to fly and to retreat from. So I'm going to put her in the mid lane. Although she only has one way to have to wall to really watch out for.
Right. So. I'm wondering the Zed just be the mid to use the counter that with Syndra just to be able the mobility to dodge stuff. But
yeah,
I guess we're going to find out right here.
Here's the thing too is. Even if they do pick the mid laner picks Anivia, nothing stops him from being like, you know what, I'm going to take the Aatrox top lane rather than the Syndra mid lane.
You know, I have a theory. Those might have been mispicks, and they probably said in the lobby chat what they really were, and we didn't actually see it.
Oh, really?
That's my guess.
Okay.
That's the only reason why...
Well, there's your Anivia.
Okay, so the Zed pick was supposed to be a Mordekaiser.
Okay.
Sometimes with the pro drafts, like if you don't click it right in time, it like picks something else. So that's the only explanation I have without actually reading what the lobby chat was.
True, and we have Mordekaiser here now with Anivia and their Pantheon. So yeah, so I would say Zed was meant to be a Mord.
Yeah, although. Something's going on here. Wait a minute, something's not right. How is Larson able to pick Pantheon when... Okay, I think they're going to recreate lobby here. There's something weird happened.
Some things going on.
First of all, let's see
what we have here.
Yeah, everyone in chat's like, how did that happen? So yeah, there's a... Okay, here we go. So in the chat here... they did say it's supposed to be Mordekaiser and not Zed.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we're gonna give him a second here. Yeah, client bug.
Okay, so we had a bug in the client. Now, he was able to
no problem.
pick Pantheon while Pantheon was picked. Is that what happened there?
Yeah, somehow he was able to accidentally pick Pantheon. I think he was trying to pick Syndra, and it did that instead.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, all that should never happen.
Let's see if we can get back into this here.
All right, so yeah, well, take two. I think everyone in the chat was like in the lobby chat was like classic Riot. Of course, there's going to be a bug with the client, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so at least we got the missed result. So the Nivea is going to counter the Syndra, and the Mordekaiser, they're good. The Aatrox was picked into the Mordekaiser.
Okay. So when they do this, since they already used the ban, why don't they just use the setup where you just pick the characters rather than going through the ban phase again with this?
I don't know. They just
do.
I always wondered that. It's like, why don't they just like do blind pick? It's a lot quicker, and just pick the champion.
Yeah, just pick your champs because you've already done the banning process and everything already. So I don't know. I was just curious on that as well. So.
Just because, I guess.
All right, so we'll go back through here and get these picks done. It does look like we will not be having a Zed. We'll be having a Mordekaiser, which that's a top laner now, right? They reworked him, and I haven't played him since they reworked him.
Mordekaiser is a pretty good top laner. At one point, he was considered like an AD carry. Like, what you would do is, like, you go down, have really good AD, take control of the Dragon Pit, and actually, like, once you down the dragon, take control of its spirit and use it.
Okay.
But I think they reworked that, so you can't do that anymore. So now he's just a really good top laner. All right, so the bug did not happen, so Larson was able to pick Syndra instead of Pantheon. That would have been really interesting, Pantheon versus Pantheon, but...
Yeah, right.
We're not supposed to be able to do that.
Like, how are we going to do a Pantheon versus Pantheon? All right. Yeah, I'm interested to see how we do with the bot lane here because we're going to be having Caitlyn and Morgana. So as you were talking about before with the binds and whatnot. So, you know, Ezzo has his little flashes that he can do, but maybe they can catch that Leona out. Or not Leona, Senna, right?
Yeah.
You catch it with the bind, and then you can also get, like, Caitlyn place her traps maybe behind, really forcing, like, a longer way or getting, you know, binded again.
Yeah, I really think... this is just the comp that Marietta has gone with is a very standard comp that they've used in a variety of cases.
Yeah.
But the comp that Aquinas is going with, the champions that they've picked here, I know that Marietta has gone against something before and hasn't gone well. Like the last time they played against Anivia, they didn't have a way to respond to it. Mm-hmm. So it's really going to come down to how can Marietta respond to the Anivia pick. Pantheon is another one of those. Although I think the last time they played in Pantheon was actually top instead of jungle. How do you respond to that? And Senna being a wild card because not a whole lot of people know exactly how to play her just yet because she's so new. We'll have to see that maybe it's John here from Aquinas has been able to figure her out pretty well.
Yeah. Now, we do have teleports on both sides. We actually have a teleport on Ezreal, it looks like. Mm-hmm. So we have an extra teleport there, including Pantheon's ult is still the same as it used to be, right? So he can also kind of just show up where he needs to be in a pseudo teleport fashion.
Right.
And on Marietta's side, they have the 2 teleports and Nocturne who can kind of just show up where he needs to be as well. So
right. Now, I think there is a range with Pantheon. It's not like he could be in the very top tower and can just use his ulti to go all the way down to the bot lane. There is still a max range, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, well, and being in the jungle, you can kind of utilize like, well, where's he at in the jungle? Well, I got a little bit more freedom now because I could still be mid lane if I need to be right now.
But yeah, if they want to do like a 4-person dive, they can, or technically a 5-person dive because with 3 teleports and the ulti, they can do that. And that might be the approach that they go with this.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what if they utilize that mobility and that the ganking potentials they have, really on both sides with the teleports. But Ezreal having a teleport is interesting because typically you see, I don't know, maybe like a barrier or maybe like not usually ignite on the ADC. Sometimes you maybe see a heal on the ADC and an ignite on like the support.
Oh, they decided that Senna actually is taking the heal instead. So
Senna's support healing heals themselves or heals both of them when it does the
like the heals the summoner spell?
Well, not the summoner spell. How Senna works for being a support character.
I think it's healing the other person.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember exactly how her mechanics work because even I'm still not completely like okay. So like she does a blast, and I think if she could shoot through someone to get the heal them and then damage anyone else.
Oh, okay.
She has like this kind of like the like a cloud like Ari does, but while she is in there, she's kind of like this untargetable wraith, and like other people can go in there, and then you can't really see what's going on. So in fact, oh no, I think I know what Aquinas is going to do. Oh no. Okay, so you do the wraith thing. You put a ward in there.
You teleport into the ward?
You teleport into the ward. You got 5 people in that cloud.
And you can't tell that they came in.
Exactly.
That's a possibility.
That's a very, very distinct possibility. Mm-hmm. I could see them pulling out.
And then you have Pantheon ult behind them where if they start to retreat, the blast from Pantheon is also going to be taking damage to them, so they're going to try to stay out of that. So you could kind of sandwich them between like, hey, there's teleports happening in this cloud and a Pantheon landing behind you.
And they won't even see that. Like usually when the teleport comes in, you see that animation. I don't think you'll see that animation.
Okay. So it covers everybody that's in there. Allies being in there, can you see them at all? Or
no, I think it's just those on that team. Like,
okay, just
like if you put 5 people in that cloud, I don't think you can see anyone in there.
Okay,
so we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out into this match. Then, if that's a plan they have,
I have a feeling that's going to be part of their strategy. But then again, I come up with really insane strategies. So.
Oh yeah, I get you. All right, so we're gonna be loading in this game here. And then we'll see everyone taking their lanes. I like that festival Queen Anivia skin there.
All right, well, let's not.
Yeah,
it just loaded up right as I was trying to show it to everyone. But
no Queen Anivia for you.
Okay,
you'll see her. You'll see her when she's rolling around here in a little bit.
Let's get everything here. All right, here we go. So this is a best of 3 series. Marietta College versus Aquinas College. Marietta is on the red side, as we see.
So this will also be the last of the semester for them too. So this is gonna be the last Marietta College game they have for a while.
Yes, this is the last conference match for League of Legends. Tomorrow will be the last Rocket League match, and then later on this week will be our last Rainbow Six match. We still don't know who our opponent is for Rainbow Six. Once we find out, we'll get the information, including when the match is. So if you haven't been following us on social media, ladies and gentlemen, you probably should if you want to see the finale of this semester. So remember, you can go to our Twitter page at Marietta Esports. You can go to our Facebook page at Marietta College Esports. You can also follow us on YouTube. All of our matches will be broadcasted there. You can even follow us here on Twitch. That way, whenever we go live, you'll be aware of it. So if somehow you missed the memo that Rainbow Six didn't, when it actually came up, and as soon as it pops up live, go, oh, they're up now, and they're playing Rainbow Six. I should totally go check that out. So you can do all that to find out the latest updates. Now, it looks like they did the typical 5 points, no invades, no shenanigans, and we're kind of seeing the starting junglers. So blue side starts with red jungle, red side starts with blue jungle.
Yeah, they taunted a little bit. We had Pantheon move up into a bush on top jungle, and then we had Ezreal kind of running around there next to the dragon pit, but no one pushed any further than that, so they were just kind of messing around a little bit.
So they're maybe looking for a potential bait, or at least just trying to see if an invade would be happening.
Or see if maybe someone poked out a little too far, or if they could pull them in, and So anyway, we're going to be moving back into our laning phases here. And starting off here, we do see Anivia in the mid, while Mordekaiser's up top against that Aatrox. And we'll be seeing how this new support, Senna, plays out for Aquinas. It's like gripping the souls out of these minions.
Yeah, I remember Senna's passive has something to do with collecting souls, a little bit like Thresh.
Okay.
So I can't remember the exact mechanics. In fact, I'm going to go and pull up the mechanics just so we're aware of exactly how she works, because otherwise I can see like some move happening where I go, what just happened?
What was that? All right, we do get a quick little bind there down bot lane on the Ezreal from the Morgana, and a little bit of damage done to Ezreal. But he's, of course, able to get back and escape from that. There is a lot of pushing doing bot lane and a lot of damage to the Caitlyn. Meanwhile, our junglers are gathering their buffs, but we do see Pantheon kind of making his way up towards the top lane, coming up behind the Aatrox through Tribush right now, and I don't believe there's a ward or anything in there, so he's going to get some damage. He gets a stun off on Aatrox. Aatrox trying to pull back. Pantheon's pushing in, diving this tower, but he's going to pull back, take a little shot from that tower, but he's not staying around.
Yeah, but he did have to burn his flash, so that is going to make him vulnerable for several minutes. So he's going to have to get some vision down there to prevent that from happening again.
Now we do see Nocturne come down into the river there up at top lane, forcing Pantheon back into their own jungle. So Pantheon currently is back in Marietta's jungle, but is he going to be trying to wait on this Aatrox and do a dive?
I think he's going to at least take the Grumps. Just do a little counter jungling.
They have gotten vision using that one plant there, so Nocturne's coming back in. Aatrox jumping onto this Pantheon. Meanwhile, a flash from Nocturne coming in there, diving on this Pantheon. There's a lot of damage going out. Looks like Pantheon's going to be going down, but can Aatrox get away before he gets taken out by Mordekaiser? Mordekaiser with a shield, able to tank enough to take out the Aatrox, but Nocturne not letting him get away just yet. These minions are going to be doing some extra damage, and that will be a 2-for-1 in Marietta's favor.
And Marietta does get the first blood as well.
Yes.
We'll take those. All right, so I do got Senna's abilities up here.
All right, so what all do we have from Senna?
All right, so for her passive, her Relic Cannon is slow to fire, but it deals bonus damage. And she can power up its range, attack damage, and crit chance over time by absorbing mist from any enemies she attacks from, or from wraiths that spawn from dead enemies.
Okay.
So it's kind of like those souls.
The souls that she's
we saw the little wraiths that were spawning. It's kind of like the souls that
like when Thresh picks up the lantern, walks around on top of their little souls and everything.
Right. So Senna does the same thing, but it kind of powers up her auto attacks.
Okay.
Her Q fires a bolt that heals the allies and damages foes.
Okay.
So, and then she can keep attacking. Like her auto attacks will decrease the cooldown for that. So that's the heal while doing damage at the same time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Her W, so it puts mist onto the first target. All right, so that right
so we
there,
do have this mist
is her E. And we see Pantheon jumping onto Morgana, has to flash away. And Teleport's actually coming down.
From Syndra here, coming down into the bot lane as well. A lot of damage already been done to Ezreal. Pantheon, they're having to retreat. Nocturne coming down as well. We may be seeing his Q thrown out here at the Pantheon, which we do, and enough to catch it. Nocturne takes out the Pantheon. And Caitlyn gets a kill on the Ezra. Or Ezreal.
Yeah, I think he flashed, and I think that was a miss flash. I don't know if he was trying to flash in. Okay, they lagged it for a second there. I was a little concerned, but we're good.
Yeah, as you're going through with that, we saw Senna having to make the choice of using her Q shot, and she used it to try to heal Ezreal the best she could, but wasn't able to do any damage because she was shooting it back towards her own tower because Ezreal was retreating. But it was able to keep him alive long enough, but then he stayed around a little too long, so...
Yeah, plus Nox and Larson were able to get in there. So it was basically a 4 versus 3 at that point.
Yeah.
So they had the numbers advantage. So once again, great job there by Marietta to be able to do that 4-person gank. But yeah, that big pool of mist around her, that was her E. So it creates a cloud of mist, movement speed, camouflage. Teammates who emerge from the mist appear as unclickable wraiths to enemies until they either attack or get close.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and then her W, yeah, you put mist on the target, damaging and then rooting the target and surrounding enemies for a brief delay.
Okay.
So, and then her ulti, it's basically a giant laser cannon. Allies are shielded, enemies that get caught in the center take damage.
Okay, so it's kind of like a bigger version of her Q, where it does like a shield rather than a heal, but then also has damage amongst it too. Okay. All right.
The more you know.
Yeah, very interesting character. We'll have to see how... So right now, we have a 4-1 in Marietta's favor. We're going to see how that plays out down the bot lane with Senna, but we do see Mordekaiser coming in on this Aatrox here. Aatrox stopping there in front of the tower. He was stuck in that circle, though, for Mordekaiser, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was taking some... he popped... His ulti triggered to try to heal him up, but it just was not enough because he was still taking constant damage from Mordekaiser. Because now, like, the way he was reworked is he actually has this big aura around him that does damage.
Gotcha.
Now, although Marietta does have more kills, they're actually a little bit behind in gold, and that's because the differences in CS. So notice that in the top lane and in the bot lane, Aquinas is actually ahead by a good amount in CS. We see in bot lane, Ezreal is actually ahead by 20 CS, whereas in the top lane, Mordekaiser's ahead by 27 CS. So,
yeah.
So the kills are important, but Marietta is definitely losing the CS game.
Yeah, top lane right now is going to be looking a little rough because not just is there more, almost double in CS, there's also 2 kills for Mord where there's none for Aatrox currently. So there's a bigger gold deficit up there, so hopefully maybe Nocturne can kind of help him out a little bit and not let him fall too far behind. Bot lane currently, though, is handling it pretty decently. They've gotten some kills and some assists. No deaths on the bot lane so far, but they are falling behind in the CS game. Syndra, though, is doing pretty good mid lane against Anivia right now, though.
Yeah, I think the big difference is the ability to wave clear. Like, Ezreal versus not Anivia, but... Oh, we see a little trading on here in the top lane. So we see Christmas trying to get away from that, but he's just still taking that passive damage. But yeah, so the difference is the wave clear. Like, Ezreal has better wave clear compared to Caitlyn, who's really a single target type person. And Aatrox, well, Aatrox does have a little bit more splash damage he can use with his combos. Mordekaiser has that aura that can allow him to do more damage. So I think just the fact that these champions can wave clear better gives them that early game advantage in this for CS.
Yeah, which we're going to need to be seeing probably Syndra maybe pick up a little bit more on the early game. Oh, we do see an ulti coming in from Nocturne coming in on this Ezra here. He's able to take him out no problem. Senna's trying to get away. They're still inside that mist thing, but we do see the ulti coming out from Caitlyn. Not enough damage on Senna with the heals coming out.
And so that Senna ult comes in, and Mordekaiser teleports down. And they're trying to focus on, it looks like, Cowboy and Nox. And Brimstone actually ends up going down since he was very low. So that was, I think, a 1-for-1 trade.
Yes, we went 1-for-1 on that. We do see Aatrox teleporting up top lane, trying to get some damage on this top tower because we have all of Aquinas down here in the bot lane. They're going to be taking Dragon right now, and there's nothing that Marietta can really do to stop that. So that big blast that we saw there down bot lane, that was the Senna ulti.
So that was putting the shield up and doing damage.
That was fairly wide too, it looked like.
It was. Yeah, the thing about that is they said there's like a middle part of the blast.
Okay.
And only the enemies that are in that middle part would take damage. So if you're on the outer parts, you don't get hit by it.
Okay.
That would be insanely OP if there's like this big...
Yeah, it looked so wide.
Yeah.
All right, well, we did see Ezra kind of come up top lane. He wasn't able to help with Dragon. Bot lane was already taken care of, so he teleported top lane to be able to stop Aatrox from doing too much damage to this upper tower. So, but I was saying before, hopefully maybe we'll see a little bit more from Syndra against this Anivia, because the more you let Anivia build up this tier, she's going to have a lot more mana, and she's going to be able to just clear waves like crazy. with her little blizzard.
All right. Well, right now Syndra is winning because Nivea's just been kind of, even though Nivea teleported down, didn't really get a whole lot. Didn't even get assist on that kill onto Brimstone.
She's very slow, so it's even hard for her to get up there to even get an auto attack or some kind of spell on someone.
And we see another darkness coming out. They're going straight onto Ezreal and forcing the flash, but Syndra's right there to get the stun and should get the killing blow.
Meanwhile, bot lane, we have going on to Mordekaiser. They get a shutdown with Caitlyn getting a shutdown on Mordekaiser. She'll get that bounty there. We do see Senna and Pantheon kind of pulling back from Syndra. I don't believe any kills happened top lane for Marietta there, so they were able to stop that dive and get 2 kills in the process of all that.
Yeah, so it's just well executed there with Nox and Larson to be up there. So the darkness coming in, Larson was already roaming up there to be ready for that. So Marietta's strategy of doing the 4-person dive seems to be working pretty well for them. And they're actually up by 1,000 gold 11 minutes, 30 seconds into the game. And they're putting some pretty good dents onto the tower. So it's already 2 turret plates down in the bottom outer tower.
What might have hurt him a little bit there was, I think because Ezreal went top lane, they kind of shifted and Mordekaiser stayed bot. But that range from Caitlyn, I don't think Mordekaiser was able to deal with as easily. So he fell to bot lane, and then they had the gank top lane, and Ezreal went down as well. So
it looks like we may be seeing something going here in the mid lane onto Anivia.
So far, Anivia hasn't died. I don't even think her egg has been triggered yet. So we do see a pullback coming in. We do see a lot of damage coming onto Anivia. Aatrox sticking around a little bit to get the egg triggered. She's not going to die from that, but her egg will be down for a little while. Ooh, and we do see the ulti from Senna coming out and taking out the Nocturne. That was great.
Right down the line. That's a pretty big... Yeah, so we can see the range on that Senna ult. It's...
Jeez.
Yeah, we had Nocturne going in there. He's like, oh, what's this? So, he's just done. That was great timing. Enough damage, too, from a support and an ulti like that to be able to get that kill.
Nox was extremely low, so it wouldn't take a whole lot to finish him off. I think he was down to like less than 50 health, probably like 25 health if we were to go back and look.
All right, so we do see money-wise, they're sticking fairly close. Not too much of a difference here. We're both still in the 20Ks. Less than 1,000 between the two right now.
Yeah, so actually with that shutdown, the goalie went back to Aquinas, but that shutdown goal all went into Senna, and not really any one of the carries. In fact, I don't even think. I mean, no one got. Actually, no. I like Anivia got the assist for that.
Well, that's the first assist that she's gotten, so that might help her a little bit. Do you see Anivia behind a good bit on CS against Syndra here?
And we see some pings going out. We see Pantheon coming down to get onto Brimstone. And he's going to get stunned. And it's going to flash away. But he's going to be extremely low. Darkness is going to come down to try to counter gank.
But he goes onto the Senna.
Actually, Ezreal goes down again. So Marietta is trying really hard to shut down that Ezreal. And Pantheon even uses the shield to counter Caitlyn's ace in the hole.
That's a good play for that.
Yeah.
All right.
So with all that, Marietta was able to prevent any deaths and they were able to get a kill on Ezreal, but they're trying really hard to keep Ezreal out of this game. But I think the problem that Marietta's going to have is this Mordekaiser is down 3-2 and 0 and up over 30 CS over Cressman. So I think he's going to end up being a big factor in this game when we get to the mid and late portions of it.
Yeah, Aatrox is having a little bit of trouble up there on the top lane. He may need to try to sit back a little bit more and leave Mordekaiser in more of a situation where he's going to get hit by tower if he keeps on pushing, or be susceptible to a gank from Nocturne, because he's definitely got a lot more of a lead. Just looking at items even. He has one full item there. Aatrox, does he have a full item yet? He doesn't, right? Does he got a hammer?
It's a hammer. I don't think it's a complete item.
It's not done yet, so yeah.
It's not complete.
But we do see that rod there.
If you look at the gold difference, if you look at like Mordekaiser versus Aatrox, it's 1,600 gold difference. I mean, that's almost a full item. About half of a full item difference. MC Cowboy's getting low, and the Senna ult actually finishes him off. And we see Cressman's having to trigger his ult because he goes down pretty low in health, but Mordekaiser will get away. But yeah, it's going back to the gold difference here. I mean, we're seeing about 1,600 gold difference top lane. That's a pretty good difference there as far as itemization goes.
Caitlyn trying to do some more damaging and using that ulti, but Senna's jumping in between there, not letting it finish him off.
We see pings going out. It looked like that Aquinas was going to go for a dragon, but they are going to pull away.
Yeah, we do have Syndra and Nocturne coming down from the mid lane down the river a little bit, trying to make sure they're not getting that dragon. And Nivea's going to be backing out, as is Pantheon, it looks like, right?
Yeah, Nivea got spotted out. Nocturne actually used his, I think it was his Q, to kind of put some damage there, and it forced Nivea to kind of run away.
We do have a lot of damage going on Mordekaiser, and Aatrox able to pull in and secure the kill. He had backed and came back, and Mordekaiser just stayed a little too long, taking a little too much damage for the last fight they had.
And of course, the camera pans away as soon as
the kill goes down. Yeah.
And we see Nivea getting stunned, but the wall will kind of prevent Syndra from continuing to pursue. So Marietta's doing very well with getting kills, and that's what's keeping them in this game. But you still have to go back to the comment about the CS, or the lack of it, in the bots and top lanes. Darkness is coming out again onto Ezreal.
And Ezreal will fall to Nocturne here. A lot of deaths onto this Ezreal. He's currently 0-5-1. So he has 1 assist, but he's died 5 times already. We do see bounties on Nocturne and Caitlyn.
Yeah, and that's where things are even out in the bot lane. I know I talked about the CS difference in the bot lane, but if you look at the gold, Brimstone's actually ahead over Ezreal, and that's because of the extra kills and just how they're able to form. So despite that CS difference, and we see Syndra actually getting pretty low, getting walled up, but they weren't able to finish him off. But Marietta should be able to secure the Mountain Drake here.
Yep, Pantheon jumped onto that Syndra and was able to stun her and did a lot of damage. Syndra able to flash away, but got caught by that wall and was very close to dying.
Yeah, that Nivea wall can be very trolly, and it's really easy to tilt off of that if you're not careful.
We do see the first turret going down for Aquinas. Mordekaiser is able to take out that top lane turret.
And they are going for the Rift Herald, and it doesn't look like that Marietta is going to be able to respond to it. So that puts Aquinas back in the lead, even if that's just a little bit, but that Rift Herald could make a difference.
They're still keeping it at about 1,000 gold between the two of them. It's not getting too far. But there is that small lead, so if they can get their CS back up, or maybe get a dragon, or some of these turrets, Marietta could easily come back into the lead here.
It'll just come down to where Aquinas decides to put the Herald. Since they got the first, the tower in the top lane, I would anticipate them trying to use it like in the mid lane to try to open that up for them.
Mid lane would be a good one. Using bot lane maybe even too, to kind of push the top and the bot both a little bit more. That way you have to split out Marietta more, and they can't be in as many places at once. Because Mordekaiser right now, he has a very good, he has a fairly good growing build right now. He has a lot of damage against that Aatrox. As long as they're both at full health, Mordekaiser's gonna be able to take out that Aatrox, no problem.
And the pings are coming out for the mid lane, so that may be where Aquinas is gonna be targeting next. And they are getting pinged out, so looks like Pressman and Nox will go there to respond and try to defend this mid tower.
See a lot of damage going into the Caitlyn here. She's having to net away. Yeah, meanwhile, here comes the ulti out for Senna, but it does not hit.
The black shield from Morgana was the saver. Was what
saved her?
Yeah. And plus, I think Brimstone went just a little bit to the left. You notice that middle part is where you're going to take the damage.
The darker area there in the middle.
Yeah, so if you just move to the side, you're not going to get hit by it.
We do see a lot of damage onto the Marietta side, but we see Aquinas having to pull back a little bit. We do have Syndra and Nocturne coming down to the bot lane. However, Nivea is going to be pushing that mid lane a little bit. And with that tier being built up and more AP power here now, she should have some better wave clear than what she had in the beginning of the game. So we have Nocturne kind of sitting, waiting. I believe his ulti is ready. So he's looking for that chance to hop onto this Ezreal, or maybe even Senna at this point, since Senna is the one with the bounty right now. Caitlyn, though, below half health. They go into a fight here. She may be falling as well. We have Senna pushing a little bit too far into river, but flashing away. We do have Pantheon here. We have the darkness go out, but Nocturne's going to have to retreat from that. Taking a little too much damage.
Those players are going to have to retreat because they're all less than half health. If they try to continue this fight, they will go down. And this is where they're going to release their Rift Herald because they know that most of the bot lane has to back off. But meanwhile, Marietta is able to at least work on the mid tower, so they should be able to secure that.
Yeah, Syndra's able to take that mid tower, but Marietta's losing that bottom tower, and they're continuing their push. And the problem is everyone bot lane had no health. We already had Morgana and Caitlyn half health. When Nocturne jumped in, they all hit him real hard, and everyone had to back out. Syndra's coming in here trying to stop or find something.
Yeah,
Rift Herald's still going.
They have to get that Rift Herald down before we can put any damage onto the inhibitor tower. It looks like they do finish it off.
But is that gonna open up? How long till Dragon? We still got another minute 20.
Yeah, Dragon's not
so
up
they're
yet.
not gonna be able to get Dragon on that.
Vision setup, but that's about it.
So that was a very strong push here. That's jumping them up about 2,000 ahead right now because of those extra towers they got.
I mean, it just goes to show, like, you don't necessarily have the most kills to win the game. Although most games, the team with the most kills does win, but I mean, if you have better macro play or better farm, then you have the same amount of gold.
Farming is a very important aspect of the game. You got to make sure you get those last hits on those CS. And then also playing the objective game. It's not about getting the kills in the game. It's about getting the objectives. And as long as you can make sure you're pointing your team towards pushing the right points at the right time and getting the objectives, you can still be coming out on top even with less kills.
Yeah, that's something that's definitely emphasized for a lot of organized teams is that, okay, getting kills is great, but this isn't solo queue. This is organized play where you want to make sure you have a really good macro game. And right now, Aquinas has that better macro play. They have 3 towers where Marietta only has 1 down. So Marietta's having trouble being able to push, but Marietta's strategy is to try to go for the picks, try to get someone taken off. And if they can get that kill and win a team fight, then they can try to push an objective. But they're just not getting that opportunity right now.
Yeah, we did have Syndra pushing up a good bit. She started to get cut off by Aquinas. We do see Caitlyn kind of getting caught a little bit here, trying to net away, but a lot of damage going to be jumping onto this Morgana here, and she's going to be going down after the stun from Pantheon. Meanwhile, Pantheon's chasing down this Nocturne as well, and Nivea's hitting a ward.
Yeah, so there's a great there play by Cowboy to try to block Caitlyn, who was kind of overexposed, but overexposed again and gets finished off by Senna. And Nox is extremely low and he goes down, so that's actually 2 down for Marietta, and Aquinas is going to continue their push.
Aatrox coming in, and Syndra trying to get some stuns, trying to just push them back to where they can't keep pushing, but Aquinas is going to say, alright, well, you guys can keep that tower, we're going to go take Dragon right now. But Mordekaiser says, nope, I'm going to stay here and take out Syndra. Okay. And he's going to push this Aatrox, which he's been able to push around all game long.
And this goes back to what we were saying before. The concern was that Mordekaiser, he was like 4-3 and 2 at the time. So, I mean, 4 kills, 2 assists, extremely ahead of CS compared to Cressman. Was he going to become a factor later on? And we're seeing, yes, he got a double kill and was responsible for getting the mid-inner tower down.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ezreal and Senna, or no, not Senna, Pantheon went down. They took Dragon as well. So while they got that tower, they also grabbed a Dragon.
Okay. And we're getting some frame rate lag here. I'm not so sure why. I don't think we're getting any drop packets. We're getting a few drop frames, but I don't know if that's a connection issue or if that's something else. But yeah, so I mean, with that, Aquinas is now tied up in kills, but they're ahead by, it's like 6,000 gold.
6,000 gold lead.
24 minutes into the game.
They're ahead by 4 towers. They're ahead by gold, and they're even with kills right now. They're also ahead 1 more Drake. So those extra little buffs from those Drakes are going to be helping them out as well. Yeah, with that movement speed, it's going to be easier for them to catch. If Marietta is not positioned themselves properly, like a couple times there in that earlier fight, Brimstone was actually too far ahead. And Aquinas was trying really hard to punish Brimstone for that. Because right now, most of the kills are on Brimstone and Nox. So if you take out the AD carry, you take out most of Marietta's damage. So Brimstone's, as a Caitlyn, I mean, you have that long range of damage. So we see the gate going on to Ezreal, and he flashes away, or at least uses his E to flash away. But as I was saying, as a Caitlyn that has long range, you have to stay behind the lines. You cannot be up there because you you have some mobility, but if you get caught, you're dead. And we see Syndra trying to do some damage here to Nivea and also to Pantheon, but Nivea's wall trapping her from her team. She's able to slip out through red buff just a little bit. Meanwhile, Ezreal comes up behind and is able to take out Nocturne from his side. And we have Mordekaiser trying to chase down Syndra. She's able to escape through the wall and get some distance on that Mordekaiser, but
he popped the ulti on it, but he was able to get away to do that. But Two from Marietta already down, and Syndra's extremely low. So this is probably going to be a couple of towers, maybe even an inhibitor for Aquinas.
Yeah, Syndra has to go back, and currently mid lane is being pushed really hard too by the Mordekaiser. So we have 3 top lane for Aquinas, 4 top lane for Aquinas pushing right now, pushing Caitlyn back, pushing Syndra back, and they're going for this tower. Meanwhile, the mid lane is taken out by Mordekaiser. He's going for the inhibitor. Top lane is going for the inhibitor, and there's only, I mean, everyone's back now, but what can Marietta do right now? They don't have any towers to protect them, to help them do any extra damage right now.
So that's going to be 2 inhibitor towers, so Aquinas will back off there getting low in health, but they've pretty much done just about everything they need to do, and even finish off Syndra in the process. So at this point, I would expect them to maybe reset, maybe go straight for Baron at this point, because with 2 lanes with super minion pressure, it's going to be hard for them to go work on to go defend this Baron.
Yeah, we do see the Aquinas coming through here. They're trying to clear out some of these wards. We've been seeing a lot. Aquinas has had a lot of wards placed, but they've also been doing a really good job going through, taking out every ward they can find from Marietta. So they've really been cutting out vision that Marietta has had most of the game.
I mean, when you're in the lead, you want to deny that jungle vision, because if you can take out wards and prevent Marietta from being able to go into the jungle, then they're really limited with where they can go, because if they can't see where Aquinas is, if they try to go in the jungle, then if they get caught off and get picked off, I mean, at this point in the game, that could be game right there. Like if Mary gets picked off one more time. So Marietta's going to have to slowly work their way and get their vision back. And we do see they get some wards out. So they are slowly trying to reestablish that vision.
Yeah. But like you said, you get, especially when the carry is picked off, that very well could be the end of it, and they can push through with the 4v5 right there.
Yeah, I mean, with a 9,000 gold difference right now, it is Aquinas' game to lose.
Even in the 5v5 right now, it's going to be a tough fight against Marietta. They still have the turrets at their main base, but once those are gone and there's no extra protection there, it's going to be a very tough fight.
Yeah, right now the problem is, like, Ezreal and Anivia, I mean, they're not really doing a lot in terms of damage. Like, Anivia does not have any kills. So all Anivia is doing is putting the E out to do AoE damage and put the wall up so that way they get trapped. That's all Anivia has to do. She doesn't have to actually do a lot of damage, because Mordekaiser, I mean, look at what he's got here. He's got Umbrella, he's got
Abyssal
I don't know what they're called, but he's got a lot of AP. He's basically an AP carry for Aquinas.
Yeah. Anivia's main job right here is to displace Marietta so that they can't stand in this circle, or they're getting trapped behind this wall. Meanwhile, Pantheon and Mordekaiser are jumping in on him. Pantheon, what does he have right now? Does he have...
He's got Black Cleaver. He's got a stopwatch too.
So even if he does get into trouble, he's going to be stopwatching himself, trying to give himself a little bit of time. Also, Anivia doing her displacement, I mean, you target her, you're wasting a lot of damage because she's just going to be an egg and you're not going to get the kill anyway. Meanwhile, Mordekaiser is bashing you in the face.
Yeah, I mean, Nivea is not the threat. And the third inhibitor goes down along with a Baron, and they did get the Baron buff. So this could be the final push for Aquinas. You see the darkness coming out. Marietta is going to try to get something onto Pantheon, but it is not going to work. Caitlyn ends up going down.
Did you see the Senna ulti coming out, shielding her team, keeping all of Aquinas from dying?
Yeah, that's actually an ace. Everyone from Marietta has gone down. So that is going to be game 1. And that will go to Aquinas.
Now, this is a best of 3, so we'll be seeing in this next match maybe some changes in bans, picks. Is there a way that Marietta can bring this into a 1v1, or will they fall to a 2-0?
I think it's just going to be a matter of making adjustments in the ban pick phase. Like, they didn't have a problem with I mean, Nivea was annoying, but it was only 1-0-4. I mean, if we're just looking at the end game stats here.
Yeah, the biggest carry of that was the Mordekaiser, I feel like.
They didn't have an answer to the Mordekaiser, and even the Senna having a couple of kills there with the ults.
Well, and look at the assists there too. Like 12 assists for that Senna. Like, she was helping every chance she could and was involved in most of those fights. And with the teleports and stuff too, like, they were able to move around a good bit and work on some gank spot lane and get those extra kills for Mordekaiser or whoever it was. So,
especially when I saw her ult was able to do a lot of damage.
And those extra shields and stuff on everyone. So, I mean, Senna may be someone that they might want to be like, you know what? Maybe we should get rid of this Senna rather than banning Nautilus.
I would expect a Senna ban and a Mordekaiser ban in this next game. That would be my prediction.
So Senna recently came out
Yeah, about a week and a half ago.
It was less than that. So I think it came out just shortly after the World Finals, which was a week ago from today.
So everyone's still getting used to her.
Yeah. So a lot of people are still trying to figure out.
She seems very powerful too.
Oh yeah, I think I said earlier, she's got a 75% win rate in most games.
Yeah.
Riot's going to have to nerf her somehow, and it just hasn't happened yet. So I would expect that ban to happen now. But all right, so we are going to get game 2 set up here in just a little bit. So once we have the lobby, we'll get that to you. So right now we're just waiting a little bit. So
maybe a little bit of discussion here of what they want to do, who they want to ban, and then we'll be going into the ban phases and stuff too for Marietta versus Aquinas here in the game 2 of this 3 series. So we're expecting maybe Sitta, Mordekaiser. Do you think Aquinas has any thoughts of changing any of their bans or anything? Will they let maybe the Leona go through, or are they going to keep that ban going along there? Or
I don't think they need to change anything. They're probably not going to change anything with bans. I think they're just going to have to anticipate Mordekaiser and sending in bans, so they'll probably have to think about what champions that they would end up picking. But if Marietta does that, then that frees up a couple of bans that they've put in. So if we go back to the ban pick, so Marietta first banned Gragas, Kane, and Nautilus. Which 2 of those 3 do you allow to go through?
I'd let Nautilus go through, and maybe Oriana. Well, Gragas, as far as a jungle, like his displacement and stuff he can do, he can really cause some issues with his ganks. Maybe he's one that you might not worry about as much as like Pantheon. Like he can be a little tanky though too. But Nautilus, I think you can handle a Nautilus support. He's a little tankier and with his grab, but I think I'd rather have that than the Senna range and whatnot that she had. Orion and Vlad is the other one I would maybe get rid of, one of those two.
Well, those would be like early on though. They may be able to get a. What I'm thinking is like with those first 3 bans, if they, let's say they leave up the Nautilus and leave up like Gragas, then that means that they could have picked those because they can always ban. Like I don't think Aquinas would pick Oriana or Vladimir early in the first 3 picks. You usually save your mid laner in the last round of picks. So we'll have to see.
So you're going to be looking at Gragas, Kane, and Nautilus, and like which of those do you not ban early on because they could get picked? Which I would say probably maybe ban your Gragas and Kane and not Nautilus, and then ban that Senna.
Right, but then it leaves up the Mordekaiser, so they can pick Mordekaiser. Now, check the lobby here. Marietta's going with first pick, so maybe they'll take the Mordekaiser first. So if Marietta doesn't ban it, they might end up going for it. But we'll just have to see there. So right now we're getting the pro draft set up here.
Yeah, that's true, because it's not just about the bans, it's also about the picks. And if you go with what bands you want to have and then the picks you want, that also hinders Aquinas from having those picks in general as well. So,
All right, so we have the pro draft up, so I'm going to go ahead and get the overlay for that. So that way, as soon as we start, and we're good to go. But I'm sure, the lobby's still being formed, so I think they're still talking over some things. I'm pretty sure Marietta is discussing some things. So it may
after that, like you're looking at it like, oh man, we had more kills. What happened there? And it's like, well, were you watching what your CS was, what their CS was? You guys need to make sure you're looking at not just your kills, but make sure you get that farm going. Because if you're not getting that farm, most of them were behind by, some of them were doubling. Most lanes were being doubled by CS, Mordekaiser was doubling Aatrox for sure. I think Ezreal was doubling Caitlyn in CS. The only one that won in the CS one was Anivia versus Syndra. Syndra was able to take care of that, but and as we said before, Anivia wasn't the problem. So
yeah, I mean, I think it'd be okay to leave Anivia up because I mean, she did some disruption, but didn't do a whole. Other than that, it's not like he got carried or snowballed or anything. Because Larson did a good job with keeping her in check.
Yeah.
So Anivia is not the threat.
She was kind of like a support in a way. She was there to either slow down the Marietta team, throw up walls to split them in half, cause disruption amongst Marietta to where they're out of place and displaced, and now Mordekaiser, Pantheon, whoever else can come in and get those kills they want to get.
Yeah, and it even just serves as the scapegoat, because then everyone's going to think, oh, jump on the Nivea, it turns into an egg, and while it's an egg, well, everyone else in the Aquinas is going to go jump on top of them.
Yeah. It's like when you have a Zac as well, like he's tanky, and you try to take him out, but then he splits into 4 pieces, and now you got to take those out. Meanwhile, you're getting hit by ADCs and APCs, you know? So it's tricky when you have those kind of characters with those passives, and it's like, well, who do you target and when do you turn on those ones? Or do you let them get away? Or So we'll see as they finish off their discussion here what plans they have. But I can definitely see a Mordekaiser ban coming through because that was probably their strongest character that they had.
Yeah, definitely.
For Aquinas last game.
Yeah, and they may even go with the Pantheon and banning that. I could see them doing like Mordekaiser, Pantheon, and Senna, just because even though like Pantheon didn't have a lot of kills, I mean he still had a factor. Like there were a couple times where he was the frontliner blocking with his shields, having that global presence of being able to use his ulti to go around anywhere he wanted to. Although Nocturne was able to do kind of something similar.
But he wasn't as tanky. He didn't have that shield blocking. There was a lot of things that Pantheon had that Nocturne didn't. So you could be right with like get rid of that Pantheon so that we can get to their carries and get to the damage dealers a little easier. Because he blocked Caitlyn's ulti. He blocked that with his shield. He was blocking. What was the other one I saw? I think it was Morgana stuns. I think he was blocking with that as well. So I mean, there was times that he was there that Marietta could have done some more, but they weren't able to because that Pantheon was stopping it.
Right, but then once again, that opens up like a Kayn jungle, which is very scary. That opens up the Nautilus supports, which I know you said let the Nautilus go through, but if you have a player that's really good with Nautilus at support, very tanky down there, can do a lot of disruption with the hooks and even using his depth charge to be able to engage with someone, that could be a potential threat as well. You get that, like if you get a depth charge onto a squishy carry, they're dead.
Gotcha.
There's just no way around it.
Well, maybe let that Gragas go through then.
I think Gragas would be one that's okay to go through.
Yeah. I mean, he has this disruption with his ulti. You toss that in when you come into gank and you push their ADC further than they want to be pushed. And now their flash puts them back to where they were. I feel like that with like his damage is the biggest thing as far as what he has as far as jungling. Plus he can be tanky with some extra damage. But it's that ulti that Gragas has you got to watch out for when he's ganking.
Right, yeah. So you have to make sure you're not necessarily grouped up right on top of each other. So yeah, if I had to pick of those 3, I would let Gragas go through. All right, yeah, we're still getting some things worked out. So, I mean, the lobby is formed, and I just got word that Marietta is now ready. So we will get that set up. Although a bunch of gibberish is going out, so... Okay, they're all ready. So we are getting things going here. And I'm going to leave the client up. That way, if there are some mispicks, we can at least tell what it is.
All right. Well, the first ban we see is... Ahri? Marietta banning Ahri.
That's it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because like usually the only thing I can think of is they have a particular Gragas. Okay, so they're still banning Gragas. So I say, wait a minute, that didn't make any sense. There's the Ahri ban.
All right, so we still have the Gragas being banned. Is the next one we're going to see coming out going to be Kayn? It's going to be Senna coming out.
Yeah,
so they're not banning Kayn second.
Well, yeah.
But will they choose then between their picks were Nautilus or Kayn?
All right, so here we go. So let's see what ban number 3 is going to be.
Or will it be Mord?
It's going to be more, yeah.
And it is Mordekaiser.
About what I expect. So it looks like they're okay with the Kayn and the Nautilus going through. So they're fine with that. They don't want to play against Gragas. They know the game more than I would, so I trust their judgment on it. But
the other ban for Aquinas, Leona, and then looks like Syndra there. Is that who that is?
No, it's yeah.
Oh,
it's Morgana.
Morgana, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they didn't like going up against the Morgana in the bot lane. All right. So that does allow Mary to pick Rakan, which I think is a support that MC Cowboy prefers a little bit more. But
yeah, I usually see MC Cowboy playing as Leona or Rakan mostly. Morgana comes out every once in a while, but I think he likes Rakan better.
Now, this puts Aquinas in an interesting predicament because if they don't... Okay, I was about to say, if they don't go with the Xayah right here, then that would allow Brimstone to go with Xayah to have that Xayah-Rakan combo. So it kind of forces... Like, when you pick Rakan first, you're basically forcing the other team to go with Xayah to deny that combo. But you don't necessarily have to have that combo to do well, but they basically forced Aquinas to go with Xayah with that. So a pretty good move there by Marietta to force that.
Yeah, you're forcing their hand a little bit without having to do a ban. And you're picking a character you want to play anyway. So and then we're seeing an Alistar.
So they didn't go with Nautilus. Interesting. But now Marietta can kind of pick their AD carry to counter the Xayah. I know Brimstone has several champions in his pool that he can definitely play well against a Xayah.
Yeah. Well, it may be related to a little bit to what ADC was being picked. Like maybe Nautilus likes to go more so with Ezreal, who has a little bit more mobility and can kind of dodge a little easier. Whereas Xayah, maybe not quite as mobile as Ezreal. So maybe you want something with a little bit more sustain with that heal from Alistar.
Possibly. And Alistar does have is pretty engaged heavy with like his E and his ulti. So actually going to go with the Jinx for ADC, which that's what I anticipated. Brimstone does like playing Jinx, and he has some pretty good success with that. So I think this is going to be a good matchup. And Nox is going with the Jarvan this time to use the Cataclysm to try to trap people. And
Aquinas we see coming out with an Echo for their mid laner.
Maybe a jungle.
Maybe a jungle Echo?
Yeah, okay. Echo jungle has been pretty popular, but it could be either way.
Well, and that's the thing they did too, where I felt like last time they picked someone and we are like, that's their jungler, right? And then they picked Anivia, and then they had it Zed, and we are like, well, wait, who's going? So
that was the misclick. True. They typed it out, so that's why I have the client up to make sure if that happens again.
The last two bans we see for Aquinas are going to be Kled as well as the Syndra.
Yeah, so they don't want to play against either one of those. Marietta banned the Yasuo, and looks like we'll see what they...
A Yasuo ban? Yasuo, we didn't see that last time at all.
Yasuo is pretty popular. He's one of those, like, if you don't have a way to answer it, you don't want to play against it.
Gotcha.
And I think Marietta's kind of gone up against several champions in even this last game about champions that they just don't have an answer to. They don't really have an answer to Anivia or Pantheon or Senna or Yasuo.
Okay.
So they're saying they don't want to go up against it.
We see a Lux coming out.
That should be a Lux mid.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so Echo's definitely going to be jungle. So with that, at least interesting that they decided to pick the Lux instead of like the top, because you would think that you would, like I said last game, you would want to save your mid laner pick for last.
Well, as we saw in the last game too, their top laner they picked last to be able to maybe counter a bit more. Like maybe their top laner is who they're like, you know what, they carried us really well last time. Let's go with our making sure our top lane can win, and then we're gonna have this tanky hyper carry kind of thing going on.
Speaking of hyper carries, we got ourselves a Kayle here.
All right. So now, Kayle gonna be top lane?
Well, here's the thing. It could be top or mid. I've seen Cressman play Kayle pretty well, but Kale's also pretty popular in the mid. So we'll know in 10 seconds where that Kale's gonna go. Unless they pick like some champion that can also be top mid. This could be interesting for Marietta's end if they're playing the mind game. No, okay, this is very obvious. It's not an Ornn mid.
No, yeah. So Ornn's going to be a top lane. We're going to see a Kayle going mid lane. And what is Aquinas going to pick as their counter for Ornn? They won't have their Mordekaiser anymore, but I think that's in the Kled. Those are the only two top laners really banned.
Right, but I would anticipate like some mobile champion. They could do something like Jax or something, because Ornn's a very slow champion.
Jax would be a good one to be.
Actually, they're going to go with Renekton, which also is still a pretty mobile champion.
All right, so it looks like we have our teams here. I'm very interested in how this Kayle is going to play out in the mid lane. I've seen Kayle wreck, and I've seen Kayle do nothing before. So like it all depends on how they play it.
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. There we go.
All right, so we're going to be getting this match set up here. Everyone's going to go through their bans and picks again here, and then we'll be getting into the match here in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we may be seeing a tie to a 1v1, or we may be seeing the last game of the semester.
Yeah, let's hope this is not the last game right here. Mm-hmm. I want to see a game 3, not just because, well, I'm biased, I want the Pioneers to win, but I want to see some more League of Legends. I don't know about you guys.
Of course, yeah.
So we want to see that going on. But yeah, so with this comp, I mean, we have the hyper carries with the Kayle and the Jinx. We have good front line, and then we have very good frontliners with Ornn, Jarvan, and Rakan. So I think this is a pretty solid composition. I think from Aquinas, I told you guys to say Aquinas. I'm the one that said it. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Aquinas. I will do better. The thing that I see from this composition is the Echo.
The Echo.
Echo is a champion, one of those that I would classify as it's very hard to respond to.
Okay.
Unless you're able to shut him down. So if Marietta can shut down the Echo, I think they're going to be fine. I mean, Lux can still be a pretty good mid laner, but I don't think Larson's going to have any problems going up against her. As we saw in the last game, the top laner, Aquinas' top laner, was doing very well. So I think it's going to come down to jungle and top lane for Aquinas. If they seem to win those, then they're probably going to win the whole thing. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this Renekton plays out. I mean, their Mordekaiser last game did a very good job, was able to push those towers, and was able to kind of stick around by himself into the later game, just because of how much more he was able to get between farm, between kills, and all that. So you get a Renekton fed up and pretty strong. Like, he could take on maybe 2 players or so of a team by himself, depending on what he has on him.
And that's one of the things to kind of notice here, at least from the bot and mid lanes, that Jinx and Kayle have really good wave clear. Okay. I mean, Jinx especially when he swaps to her rocket.
Yeah, the rocket has a lot of splash damage.
And I think that was one of the flaws that they had last time. Was that Caitlyn, really good single target damage, but cannot get the wave clear, so it fell behind in there. Even though he was ahead on kills and gold for a while, Ezreal was able to come back and actually take ahead.
Yeah.
And with Kayle, I mean, once you get level 6 and you get the passive going, she has insane wave clear. And it's going to be really hard for Lux to keep up with it. So I really love the Kayle pick here. And even Ornn has...
Yeah, how are we looking at Ornn versus Renekton for wave clear and farming?
I think it's going to be a little even. Like, Ornn has kind of his breath that he can do splash damage, but Renekton kind of can do, like, with his blades and be able to
like spin attack,
spin around thing, right? And so forth. So I think it's going to be pretty close with it. I would expect some jungle presence in the top lane.
Okay.
I mean, we kind of saw that. We didn't see a whole lot in game 1. Like, we saw
a little
lot
bit
of
earlier on. Earlier on, there was a lot of play top lane, I feel like, but then it switched to like a lot of focus in the bot lane.
I think it's because Mordekaiser got ahead, so we're like, okay, we don't need to get Mordekaiser ahead anymore. He's already ahead. Let's focus on the bot lane. Mm-hmm. So I think Aquinas is going to do the same thing here. They're going to start by trying to get Renekton going, get him ahead, and then if they can get him ahead, they're going to go into the bot lane. So Mary's got to be ready for that. Ornn is not as mobile compared to Renekton, so the advantage is with Aquinas. So I can see them trying to tackle them first. Now we got to wait another 2 minutes and 45 seconds here. So while we're waiting, we'll throw out a shameless plug. How are things going with Blind Wave?
Oh, Blind Wave is doing very well. Currently, we've been doing Jedi Fallen Order. That just came out. There's a Mandalorian just came out. So there's a lot of Star Wars stuff going on. We're very big fans of Star Wars. So that's been really fun over at the YouTube channel and on Twitch as well.
Yeah, so I know Eric was streaming earlier. I don't know. He might still be streaming Jedi Fallen Order.
We had a group stream Fridays, and he was actually playing it yesterday, and he's playing it today. So he has both those going on right now. And then he'll be continuing those on Saturdays as it goes through until he beats it. Okay. And then I'm going to be playing Pokemon. That came out already, so I'm excited to have my Pokemon days back. So.
Okay, so big question. Which one did you get?
I haven't got it yet. I'm going to get it today, and I'm still not even sure which one I want. So I haven't looked at anything on like what the games are going to have, what's coming, or any of that. So I haven't made my decision. Usually I look at like, well, what's the legendaries? Which one do I want? So I do like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So maybe I could go the S.H.I.E.L.D. route. But the legendary with the sword in his mouth is kind of interesting too. So I might just base it off one of those two things.
Okay.
So... But yeah, I'm not sure.
So you'll be streaming Pokemon at some point.
I'll be doing those every Monday at 6 p.m.
Okay, so be sure you guys to check that out, and of course watch Eric playing Jedi Fallen Order. I think you guys released your reaction video for the first episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, they had 2 episodes this week, and then we'll be covering those every week going on.
Okay,
so they come out every Friday is a new Mandalorian episode.
All right.
Except for the week that they actually have the new Star Wars movie coming out, they're pushing it up earlier in the week so that it doesn't interfere with people going and seeing the movie, which I thought was a good idea.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So we're really excited about all the new Star Wars stuff, and the first 2 episodes have been, I thought, really good for Mandalorian. I've enjoyed them.
Yeah. So for those who are not familiar, so where can they watch all the Twitch streams and the videos?
So all the Twitch stuff we do at twitch.tv/blindwave, and then YouTube wise, we have lots of videos that we post up every day. It's YouTube. Just search Blindwave. So youtube.com/blindwave, you'll find it that way.
All right. It sounds great. Yeah. So be sure to check it out. And as I think I've said before, thank you for coming in to helping us with shoutcasting. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been fun.
My only complaint is we're about to end it for this semester.
Yeah, we are.
We'll pick it back up again next semester. So the conference will be talking about how we'll handle scheduling in the spring. I think we were talking about this yesterday. One of the reasons why we had a lot of our matches on Saturday mornings this semester was because of football games, and everyone wanted to go to the football games. But since there isn't going to be any football games next semester, we might be able to alter when those matches are going to be. So,
well, how would we know when those are going to be? What's the best way to know that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So we do have a couple avenues that you can check out for any of that. So you can check out our Twitter page at Marietta Esports, our Facebook page, so facebook.com/Marietta College Esports. So once we have our official schedule for the spring, at least in the conference schedule, we will get that out to everyone so you can prepare for those. We also are planning on participating in a couple of other tournaments as well. We'll be participating in Collegiate R6 again for a Rainbow Six team.
Great.
We will be participating in the College League of Legends tournament sponsored by Riot Games.
Oh, cool.
And we should be able to participate in the TESPA Overwatch Collegiate Series. So all of those, once we have those dates, we'll get them out. So now we are in Game 2. So let me get the lobby here set up. As I push all the buttons to try to get this figured out while you guys are watching. You're seeing the magic going on behind the scenes. We're not going to watch chat. Sorry. If you were hoping to see the chat, I hate to disappoint you, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah, we're going to hide it just like you should when you solo queue.
Yes, you should. Solo queue, yes. But yeah, so this is Game 2, Marietta College versus Aquinas College. Aquinas did take Game 1, so if they win this game, then they do take the match. But if Marietta can take this, we will go to a Game 3. As the game freezes up a little bit again, but that's okay. We're back.
So we do have the similar placements. Everyone's making sure there's no invades or anything happening. Jarvan kind of poking a little fun at Lux there, being like, "Hey, I'm right here."
Although I'm seeing Ornn hasn't moved up yet.
To the top lane?
No, he hasn't moved at all. He hasn't bought anything yet. So I hope everything is okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they're doing I figured this was going to come. Let me see what's going on here because it looks like there may be a connection. Yeah, top is frozen. He's relogging. Okay.
Okay, so he's going to log out, log back in and stuff. So, but
yeah, I was about to say something doesn't look right. It had to be frozen or lagged out or something. Okay. But
just give us a few minutes. They'll be logged back in and be able to go with that. So, but so we're going to have some different types of tournament stuff going on next semester then with. Or different leagues, I guess it is.
Yeah, because, well, for like the TESPA Overwatch series, that's a spring-only tournament. They had an open season this semester, but we didn't get a chance to participate in that because schedules were a little kind of fluctuating a little bit for the Overwatch team. The College League of Legends season, that's a spring-only thing.
Okay, so a lot of these are just spring-only type of events that are going on. Okay.
Now, a couple of things that we're hoping to participate in is, like this semester, we did exhibition matches in Fortnite, with Lord's University, Mount Vernon Nazarene University, and Muskingum University.
Okay.
So we're hoping to continue that. And I know I said a couple weeks ago that we're hoping to broadcast those. So we got the technology working, and now it's just a matter of being able to commentate for those. So hopefully next semester we'll be able to broadcast those Fortnite matches. And also, NACE is supposedly going to be doing a Fortnite league, kind of like how they did a Rocket League tournament this semester. So we may be able to participate in that. I can't say with 100% certainty. I have to double check to make sure the team can.
Okay.
A lot of them are on the baseball teams, and baseball's going to be next semester.
Gotcha.
But
we'll make sure that everyone's following Twitter, Facebook, all the news as it comes through will be updated on those kind of channels.
That's the best thing to do. Like any updates we have of what's going on with the program, whether it's schedule-wise or things that's just going on with the program in general, I just recommend following us so you can see what's happening.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone has been reconnected. Lanes have started their battles now, so let's see how things fare with top lane, mid lane, and bot lane here.
Yeah, so the real question is, where will the junglers focus? I mean, my prediction was that they're going to try to get Renekton going first, so we'd probably see some attention in the top lane. Although we're seeing Renekton already very low, didn't have to flash away, but he was able to use his E to get out.
Mm-hmm. Having that little bit of extra mobility to be able to escape Ornn up there. But yeah, it was really very close. Ornn seems to be a formidable opponent against Renekton here, but one thing that he has to watch out for is he is going to be having mana where Renekton will not. So there's going to be two things that he has to make sure he's keeping in check with his health and mana up top lane.
Mm-hmm. In fact, we even see Jarvan pinging out, but Echo's nearby, so we may see some action going in the top lane very soon. Actually,
we do see Renekton start to back, but then he stops, and Jarvan's coming up to the top lane here, and he's going to be falling back to tower, and he's going to be able to escape that.
Yeah, no flashes were burned as a result, but
I think he was able to use his E to get that little extra mobility back out of there.
But that is going to give Ornn a chance to at least get a little bit of CS. He was a little behind in CS at first, but now he's caught back up. And I mean, he's technically ahead, but when you're only off by like 1 or 2 CS,
it doesn't really make a difference
at that point.
It's not until you start doubling it that it really like especially in the earlier game.
It's like we're seeing the bot lane that Aquinas' AD carry is actually ahead by a good amount with Jinx. But hopefully the wave clear will be adjusted. I'm actually seeing Ornn taking quite a bit of damage, and actually damage going on in both the top and bot lanes. Ornn's having to back off, and Brimstone and actually Cowboy has to back away because he's at about just slightly over half health.
All right, and Renekton comes back behind the tower here, doing a little bit of a tower dive, but not taking the damage yet. Not focusing on Ornn, focusing more on the minion wave clear.
And we're actually seeing Jarvan getting very low and actually ends up going down to Xayah. And Rakan's dangerously low too, so they may be looking to try to finish him off.
And I believe that with that flat, with Alistar dashing in there, like, I thought they were going to get him. They didn't manage to get him. That was great.
Yeah, that was very clutch. I mean, using the flash to go and then using his E to get away. But yeah, that could have been a disaster there. But Xayah's going to get first blood as a result.
You see a lot of damage going on to...
Although Brimstone's extremely low.
Brimstone trying to get away. Echo coming in here to the Marietta jungle. We do see Lux coming down to support to attack this Jarvan here. Jarvan trying to escape. But mid lane currently is back, so there's no help coming from the Kayle there.
Yeah, I mean, look at the difference that we see here. I mean, look at the bottom blue jungle and tell me what you see. Besides Echo and Lux.
I see a lot of red.
A lot of red. They have that entire jungle completely warded.
And as of right now, I don't see like any blue wards. Maybe one actually.
There's a blue ward.
Yeah.
So Aquinas is winning the vision battle very early on.
And it's a heavy push one too. So usually you'll get it more so along the river, and along your jungle lines, and where you're going to be more susceptible to ganks. But they're pushing into the jungle there of Marietta, and maybe watching to try to really hinder this Jarvan and stopping his farm, or maybe get a gank on the jungler himself.
Yeah, they definitely want to see exactly where he's at. But we can definitely see where the jungler for Aquinas is paying attention to. He's definitely focusing on that bot lane. Now we're starting to see some of those wards clearing up. So they would have to be able to go back in there and reestablish that vision. But at least for that part, they saw Jarvan. I think that contributes to that first blood that they got, because they actually were to see the Jarvan coming down, and they were able to intercept before Brimstone and Cowboy were able to intervene.
Yeah, stopping those early ganks is definitely a way of keeping that money control that they have right now. Just a slight bit here, partly to that first blood, because for the most part the lanes are fairly even in CS. A little bit in the lead for mid lane for Marietta, and a little bit in the lead for Aquinas in the bot lane.
We see Larson has a very considerable lead in CS, and we see the Ornn ult coming out.
You see Jarvan coming in here for a little help on Ornn, but Ornn goes back in and is going to be taken out by Renekton. Meanwhile, Jarvan, taking a lot of damage from that AoE and the minions, is going to fall himself.
Yeah, so he flashed to dodge the Ornn ult, then popped his ult to get that damage on him. And now with that double kill, that basically puts him ahead of the lane now. So Echo doesn't need to focus on the top lane anymore unless Ornn's able to get some kills. So we're probably going to see that focus in the mid lane and maybe even the bot lane. Actually, we see Echo maybe trying to get something onto Larson here in the mid lane. He will take a turret shot as a result, but a very good ult there by Larson to dodge the Lux ult.
He's sticking around though, maybe a little too long. That ignite taken away, but I don't. It does. It's just enough to be able to take out the Kayle. So we'll be seeing Larson fall.
Yeah, that was a little greedy. I mean, after taking that, he should have just backed off and get away. But now. Nox is going to try to go in there and intercept the CS, but he's already less than half health, so it's going to be very dangerous for him to stick around much longer. But we see Echo kind of heading towards the bot lane, so I would expect him to maybe try to help with pushing down there, although the bot lane is pretty well pushed as it is.
They could go for a tower dive here with but no, it looks like there's just kind of maybe placing some wards and checking things out there.
Maybe going for maybe a Drake. Yeah, I think he's going to go for a Drake here.
It had a few wards and taking out the little scuttle guy.
Or at least trying to get some vision, maybe doing some counter jungling. And Marietta's not going to see this because there's no vision down there. So I don't even think Nox knows that Echo is there.
And Echo's coming in from behind. We do see Alistar taking some tower hits right now. Jarvan trying to come down bot lane as well to help out, but it's going to be too late. We're going to see Alistar fall as well as Jinx. Can the Rakan survive? Rakan cannot survive. That's going to be 3 kills, possibly. Yeah, 3 kills for Aquinas right there. Jarvan came in, but he's not. He just doesn't have too much right now. He's behind a lot, especially compared to Echo. Well, I guess not. I mean, he's got a lot of deaths, but there's those assists though from the Echo that's really helping.
If you take a look, it's about a 500 gold difference. It's not substantial. Well, in this part of the game, it's a little substantial, but it's not something that Nox can't recover from. The bigger concern is the CS difference in the bot lane, and we see Alistar getting the stun onto Kayle, and Kayle does not have her ult, so he's going to go down. So they're starting to put more attention in the mid lanes. Like, Aquinas already knows they've won the top lane and bottom lane. So now they're just trying to see, can they win all 3 lanes? Because if they do that, then it's game over.
Yeah, so you get your focus on the top lane. Renekton's already ahead against his Ornn. Right now, bot lane's having no trouble handling Brimstone and Cowboy right now. If Echo helps up that mid lane to make sure that this Kayle is also not going to be a threat, and they win all 3 lanes. And here we go. We have another gank coming into the bot lane where they're focusing on this bot lane. You're going to see Brimstone go down. Cowboy's trying to get back, but that Lux ult is going to finish him off. That's going to be another 2-0 on the bot lane.
And that's just a lack of vision. I mean, if you take a look down there, they have control wards all over the Marietta's blue jungle. Marietta has no vision. They had no reason to go up there and try to do that engage without knowing where everyone else is. So that's going to be a free Cloud Drake for Aquinas, but yeah, 10 minutes in the game and they're already up 5,000 gold.
Yeah,
I mean, I hate to say this, but we may be looking at like a 20-minute game.
Yeah, we very well could. I mean, we've also been seeing Marietta has had a few greedy moments as well. You know, that Kayle, she had that ulti where she was able to dodge Lux's ult, but then she pushed back in and overstayed her visit, and she ended up falling. So maybe some of these moments of not staying too long or staying more than you should. Also making sure we get some vision out there. Marietta's definitely going to need something to do, some kind of change right now, or else they're going to be falling behind a lot more.
Now, it's not over yet. So since Aquinas did put all their resources into that bot lane push, Nox was able to take the Rift Herald. So they do have that now. So the question is, can they utilize that to try to get a push in one of these lanes?
Well, right now we don't have anyone in the bot lane. We have a lot of Aquinas in the mid lane. We do see a few backing out right now. But, I mean, with Kayle building up a little bit, maybe she can push a little easier, and maybe you can get a nice push in one of these lanes with that Rift Herald. Even though the 2 kills, CS-wise, is still fairly close to the top lane right now.
Yeah, it's really not bad. I mean, Crispin's doing a better job this time in maintaining his CS. So even though Renekton is winning, and we see Lux had to burn her flash to avoid the gank by Rakan.
We do see a lot of action coming up to the top lane here right now. We see Ornn, and behind Ornn is coming up to the Alistar. Alistar's going to be trying to get a headbutt, but Ornn's going to dodge it. But we still have Xayah and Echo coming in on this gank here. And we're going to see a stun on Ornn. There wasn't much he could do there. He was trapped either between a stun or an Aquinas attack. So,
and once again, that just comes down to not much vision there. And so they just couldn't see it coming.
No, you get a ward, you know, even if you had a ward in the river bush right there, just a little bit of an awareness of like, I better start backing now. And then you have Nox jumping in there trying to hold off that attack on that tower, but he's going to go down as well.
It was a 3v1 at that point. I mean, that was...
And look at this here. Renekton comes into bot lane. It was Cowboy and Brimstone both there fighting this Renekton, and with his ulti up, he was still at full health, and they had to just try to run away. And they didn't even have a tower to run to, so there wasn't much they could do, and Renekton still sits at full health. Alistar waiting there to catch this Rakan. Rakan's kind of trying to get back. Jarvan goes in, focusing on the Alistar, but a lot of these stuns hitting him. He's still falling in. He's going to be in the middle of a 4. No. He's going to get hit by Echo. Dodges the Lux ulti as well, though, but Zaya trying to escape back to tower, but it's not going to save against all these Aquinas.
I mean, at this point, Aquinas is ahead 10,000 gold, not even 14 minutes into the game. Like, Marietta's going to have to play super conservative now, just because of how big of a lead Aquinas has. I mean, it almost feels like they're trying to force plays, and they're practically, I almost hate to say it, but they might be tilted at this point and maybe just trying to force something to happen, but it's just not working very well.
Mm-hmm. Now, Aquinas comes in, they get their objective, they fall back, they don't overstay their visit. And if you look, there are wards in the top jungle, in the bottom jungle. Yeah, there's wards all over the place. So wherever Marietta tries to go, Aquinas knows where you're going. Mm-hmm. And they'll meet you there.
I mean, there's practically no fog of ward out there at all for... In fact, just take a look here. If you just look at the red ward... I mean, that's
a couple wards just died out now, but I mean, look at the vision they have through most of the top jungle here, and they had more in the bottom jungle just before we switched there, where we have a few more of the wards dying off. But
if you compare that to Marietta's vision,
they have the lanes where their minions are.
They have no. Yeah,
that's about all they have right now. So there's a lot of lost vision that Marietta just doesn't have, and maybe they're not placing a ton. We see Jarvan going down there. Maybe they're not placing a ton, but we also. We saw Senna last game. We see Alistair this game. They're making sure they're scanning and looking for wards as they go through stuff too. So,
I mean, just in 9 division, like Kong out there got caught out, didn't have any vision. Or at least I tried to put down a ward, but it just was not working.
You see them diving into the base, going over the tower to use their flashes, taking a couple tower hits on the way out, but no one's gonna be dying. Oh, we do get an execute. No kill though for Marietta on that, just an execution. So we're coming here to the tier 3 tower here with just Kale to defend. Do see Jarvan kind of showing up. Ornn using his ulti, trying to make a play, try to get something to happen here. Jarvan using his Cataclysm to try to stop this Zaya from being able to escape. Meanwhile, Lux uses her ulti and Echo comes in, dealing some damage.
But despite all that, it's just not doing much to them. They're just too far ahead at this point. Like, Marietta has to find a way to pick off one person and just get that person down, but
the only one really running around by themselves though is typically that Renekton. Mm-hmm. And he's a force to be reckoned with right now.
Yeah.
Looks like they're moving down here to take off this Drake. We still have about 4 more minutes until that Baron shows up, and once that Baron's grabbed, I'm pretty sure that'd be the end for the game here.
Yeah, they're probably gonna, I would guess, they'll beeline straight forwards and take it and use that to try to finish the game as fast as possible.
Well, because you'll get one or two things. Either they're gonna push out to try to stop you, in which case, right now in a team fight, they'll be able to handle them. They won't have any towers to help defend, or they don't. You get Baron, and then you can push through, and you're gonna be able to win.
So, what would you say Marietta could do at this point on that?
I mean, at this point, it's the best they could really do is a lot more of a cautious waiting game. I mean, they're trying to get wards out now. The wards are a little too late. But, I mean, if you can find a pick off somewhere, but most of Aquinas is staying grouped up close enough to where you can't just get that easy pick. But they don't want to overextend. You have Jinx there. Jinx doesn't want to push out too far because they don't have enough vision to know how far she can push out. So, I mean, it's a very tricky situation on what can they do and is it still winnable based on, well, we stay back, but we just let them run the map. But they got to get that vision out and try to find those picks. So the best thing they could do is to get the vision out, get wards placed, and watch for that opportunity to pick off Echo or pick off Zaya or someone that's somewhere they shouldn't be right now.
And we see Marietta doing just that. Take a look at their blue jungle. Or the red jungle, sorry. They have wards there. They are starting to reestablish that vision there. It's not so much in their blue jungle because right now Aquinas is there. They're even pinging out saying, hey, we think Aquinas is there. Don't go there. So they are reestablishing that. And at this point, you have to farm. Mm-hmm. I've seen games before where there's been like goal differences like this, and the team from behind would just sit back and farm, working their gold up. And we see the engage going on onto Zaya, and they will get the shutdown. So that things like that.
That's what you got to watch for. Now we have Jarvan here running in though. He's gonna get sandwiched between Renekton and Alistair. Meanwhile, Echo's chasing him down as well. I don't think Jarvan's gonna be getting out of this, so it's gonna go for a 1-to-1. But they were fighting Echo that whole time. Ornn and Jinx are able to take out the Echo and then retreat back to base. So they do go 2-for-1 there. So they do come out on top of that.
Yep.
Especially with the bounties.
Yeah, 2 shutdowns. So, yeah, they're doing exactly what they need to do. Reestablish vision, focus on farm, and get those picks.
Yeah.
So even though they lost Knox, they're getting 2 shutdowns. So that closes the gap a little bit. It's still about, about
10,000
10,000. But it was, here's what I want to get at. A couple of minutes ago, it was about like a 12,000 gold lead. Now it's down to 10,000. Still sounds pretty dire.
Yeah.
But if you find those wins and you work your way back, you can get back into this. The game is not over until the Nexus falls.
Mm-hmm. Very true. So if they can keep these wards out, they keep trying to clear the vision of Aquinas, which we have them coming in here. Alistair is chasing down Rakan, and Jarvan is in the middle of the jungle right now. Meanwhile, Ornn down here fighting Renekton. Renekton's going to back off a little bit because of that tower.
Yeah. I think the best example, I still remember seeing games in the past where we've seen goal differences like this. The team that was behind would stay back, turtle, if you will,
yeah,
and just keep their farm up. And they were able to out-farm the other team. They tied in gold just from farm alone, take ahead, and actually win the game as a result. Yeah. So this does seem bad, but it's still not over yet. So as long as Marietta plays smart, they get their farm up, they look for those opportunities to get those picks without trading, and they're gonna have to play the long game. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Aquinas is going to want to finish the game in the next 3 minutes. Marietta is gonna have to drag this out, so that way they can get the items they need, and then even in like 30-40 minutes in the game, if they're able to drag out for another 20 minutes, the goal difference isn't going to matter at that point because everyone's going to have their full item builds.
Well, yeah. There's 2 things. There's your levels, which makes your powers stronger, and there's your items. Everyone always has 6 item slots. So once those are filled, you can't get more items no matter how much gold you have.
Exactly.
And then your levels, you only get to 18. Once you hit 18, the longer you stay at 18, the more the other team is catching up to you. And then once you overstay that, you're just evened out.
Right.
So it comes down to what your build is and how well you play at that point. So if they can hold off and just keep building up experience and gold and trying to just catch up and not keep falling behind, it is possible to turtle into a win.
Now, the only problem with that, though, is they're going to have to concede objectives. They have to concede the Baron. They're going to have to concede the Ocean Drake that's coming up in 20 seconds. In fact, actually, Aquinas is not even worried about the Ocean Drake. They're going to use the Baron buff to see how much they can push. So that is going to make it more difficult for Marietta. But they're just going to have to try to kind of whittle Aquinas down. We see the Ornn ult coming in, so they may be looking for a team fight right here.
Well, we did see Renekton pull off towards the top lane, so he is no longer here. So they're going to get a pick onto the Echo. Larson managed takes him out. Renekton, though, comes in. He's caught in the Cataclysm right now, and they're kind of splitting up too much. Marietta falls with a double kill against the Xayah.
Yeah, so they got the Great One pick, and they're going to try to get another, but Cowboy goes down. So right now it is a 4-for-1 in Aquinas' favor. Although Larson's trying to get the shutdown, so
KO does manage to get a little extra damage there to Alistair and taking that. It was a great time to push in because the Lux was top lane, the Renekton was going top lane to help take out that second tier tower, which left them less people in the mid. But once they went in there and Renekton joined back in and he was stuck in that Cataclysm, that probably would have been the time to pull back and take that 1 kill rather than sacrificing 2 of your own.
Yeah, at this point, sometimes you just gotta take the wins and then just fall back. You cannot afford to get greedy of this because if you lose it, like they're just fortunate the fact that if this fight was a 4 kills to 1, Aquinas was not able to finish the game. Like if they had another team fight like that, they could possibly push it and finish it off. So they have to be very careful to not give up kills. It's not even so much about like how many kills you can get off of them. It's like take this kill and then back off. Make sure you don't give up any kills. You can't concede anything at this point.
And at this point too, you have Aquinas with Baron. You got that 1 kill. That's 1 less Baron buff that you're worried about now. Just keep working that and take out those Baron buffs little by little, and don't try to force a fight further than what you can handle. Right now we see Marietta kind of getting caught a little bit in between Echo, Renekton, and the rest of the team up here in the mid lane. Jarvan currently top lane. He's trying to back off here to the bot tower. Meanwhile, mid lane's being pushed too. So here's the point. The most important tower, I would say, is that mid lane tower, which we don't have enough coverage on because too many people are covering that bot lane tower because now an inhibitor is open, and that's going to cause more trouble.
And not only that, the only person they had defending there was Rakan. Like, Rakan's not going to be able to do much there to defend a 4-player siege.
Yeah, exactly. So now we see Aquinas here staying grouped up. They're coming down to this bot lane. They're looking for picks if they can find any, while warding this bottom jungle as well. But they're going to be getting this tower and then pushing in to see if they can get this middle inhibitor tower, or bottom inhibitor tower. They don't really have to push top or mid lane too much right now because those super minions are going to be doing it for them.
What do the inhibitor towers do?
So, I mean, the towers are the ones that shoot.
Right.
But just behind them are the inhibitors. When those go down, they're going to be allowing super minions to spawn. So you'll see cannon minions every once in a while, but you'll get super minions, which are like these minions in these mechs. They are tankier, and they deal more damage to the buildings.
And they're going to be on the red side?
Yeah, you'll be seeing them on the red side. Right now, we have a few already in the mid lane, where Echo and them are right now, but they're trying to hold this last inhibitor tower here, because if they lose this one too, they're going to be getting pushed really hard from bottom and mid lane. Right now in these team fights, they don't have a tower anymore to help to protect them, and they didn't pull back far enough. And we're going to be seeing probably an ace.
Yeah, so Marietta's able to take. I mean, 4 of Marietta's already gone down. All that's left is Rakan,
who just spawned, and he's not going to be able to do anything to stop this. And I think this is going to be the end of the game right here. So we're going to be seeing 2-0 victory for Aquinas against Marietta here. And that will be the game. No, it was a very tough game there. A lot of it, I think, came down to ward placement. If they'd have had more vision and focused on, like, hey, stay back when we need to, don't push too far, and make sure that we have vision for all these roaming Renekton's and Echoes, and I think that would have been a good route to go with. But they started getting those wards placed too late.
It looked like really early, Marietta was getting pretty greedy.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of plays like that, where like the Kale overstaying her visit when she survived that ulti of Lux. Pull back and get your health back up. Don't overstay, because you're probably going to die. There was 2 people in lane right then.
Yeah,
you know?
I think there are several times where you're just underestimating your opponent and then getting punished for it. And then it just kind of snowballs from there. So, like, think about League of Legends. It is a very snowball game. Yeah. Like, if you fall behind early on, it is so difficult to catch back up. And it's so tempting to try to force plays. And we saw a couple times where Marietta tries to force something and they get something, but then they try to force it beyond that. Like that team fight that we saw in the mid lane there. Like, it was great they got the pick onto Xayah, and they got that, great. But then they try to force it beyond that, and then that's where they got punished for it. Yeah. So you have to just kind of know when to get the picks, when to back off. And I think that's still something that Marietta has to learn, is when to back off after taking a win.
Yeah. You don't have to kill the whole team to say that's a win. Take that 1, maybe 2 kills, and now back off, and don't chase everyone else, you know? So, but no, I mean, the first game was very close, very good game. The second one here was a little bit more steamrolly from Aquinas there, as we saw them kind of snowball through and take out Marietta. But I'm hoping to see much more from Marietta next semester as we go into preparing for that.
Yeah, I know they'll be practicing a bit during the winter break, so that's going to give some time to kind of get things prepared for next semester. And there'll be more matches since they'll be participating in the CLOL tournament as well. Okay. But yeah, so that'll be it for us. So just as a reminder that tomorrow night will be our last Rocket League match for the semester, which will also be against Aquinas, the number 2 Rocket League team in the country in NACE. So we'll see how that goes, but please be sure to come back tomorrow evening. As we said, later on this week, we'll have our last Rainbow Six match for the semester. Once we know exactly when that's going to be, we will get that out on Facebook and Twitter. So please be sure to follow us. So once again, thank you so much for spending your afternoon here. Hope you have a great evening.
Yep.